The signal rippled across the quiet sectors of the Orion fringe. It was a plea written in trembling code, sent by a civilization that had exhausted every other attempt to survive. The Ventari Alliance had broadcast it with the last strength of their shield grids. They begged for assistance against an enemy that consumed worlds and left only silent bedrock behind. Yet none of the great powers listened. No one believed that the Ventari were worth saving. Their territory was poor. Their resources were thin. Their fleets were outdated. Their political value was nearly zero. Their extinction was expected. It was even discussed in calm voices by neighboring councils. Survival was for the powerful. The weak were meant to fall. That idea hid behind every diplomatic smile and every empty promise of future support. Only the Ventari could not accept that fate. So they sent their plea into the deep dark and waited. On the worn administrative world of Turvan Prime, the Ventari leader named Rowland stood inside the Hall of Decisions. His staff worked around him with tense motions. Rowland watched the holographic map that shimmered above the central table. One sector after another blinked red. The Devourer swarm advanced in branching waves. They were not a simple foe with a single command structure. They were a breeding tide driven by instinct. Their ships grew like coral. Their weapons formed from organic furnaces. They needed no diplomacy. They only expanded. The Ventari had fought them for 6 cycles. Each cycle cost them another portion of their territory. Rowland understood that the next cycle would erase them. He kept his voice still, and even as he spoke to his officers, he wanted them to believe that a path still existed. "Has anyone answered?" he asked. His eyes carried exhaustion, but not surrender. No one responded at once. The silence confirmed what everyone expected. The plea had been ignored. Then a technician at the far console leaned back. Something changed in his expression. His crest rose. His fingertips hovered above the panel, as if he feared he had misread the signal. "Leader, we have an incoming response," he said. "It is not from any power we know. It comes from a system outside all mapped corridors." Rowland moved closer. A string of symbols scrolled across the screen. The characters did not match any Ventari or Alliance code. The technician translated them. Then he read the message aloud. "We heard you. Hold fast. We are coming." The message ended without signature or further data. The signal strength was narrow, and the origin was distant. Rowland stared at the translated words. They were strangely direct. Too brief. Too confident. Too singular. It sounded like the voice of someone who had judged the situation in an instant and had no doubt about the response. "Identify the sender," Rowland ordered. "We cannot," the technician replied. But the signal was human. The officers exchanged uneasy looks. The humans were a myth to most of them. A species whispered about in half-serious reports. A species said to come from a world so violent and lethal that no alliance. Biologists could classify it within accepted planetary tiers. The name the rumors gave them was Deathworlders. Few had met them. Few wanted to. They were described as strange, relentless, impossible. A species shaped by catastrophe and hardened by a world that tried to kill them every day. Some said they were dangerous, even to their allies. Others said they fought like no one else. But none of the great powers accepted them. None invited them. Humans were always treated with caution. Some nations refused to work with them at all. Yet the humans had answered when everyone else refused. Rowland felt a strange mix of hope and fear. If the stories were true, then the humans might fight with unmatched force. But the same stories warned that alliances with humans came at a cost. Not in conquest. Not in exploitation, but in change. Human presence altered everything around them. Their ideas were strange. Their courage was unnerving. Their methods were unconventional. Their arrival might save the Ventari. It might also plunge the entire region into unknown consequences. Rallen closed his eyes for a moment. The Ventari needed survival. They would accept the uncertainty. "Send confirmation," he said. "Thank them. Tell them we await their arrival." The technician sent the message. Minutes later, the reply came. "Understood. Hold the line." Hours passed. Then days. The Devourer swarm moved closer to the heart of Ventari territory. Their clouds of bioships devoured everything. Rallen's fleets fought in defensive arcs that shrank each cycle. The Ventari worlds burned. The civilians fled toward the core systems. Every Ventari broadcast repeated a single order: endure. Then the sensors detected an anomaly. A ripple in the outermost fringe. Vessels emerging from shift space, large, dense, shielded, unlike anything in the Alliance databanks. They came in formation, shaped with predatory precision. Their hulls gleamed with matte plating designed to scatter incoming fire. Their engines burned bright blue. No banner flew from their ships. Only one symbol marked their hulls. A simple image of a world wrapped in a stylized orbit. The emblem of Earth. The humans had arrived. On the command deck of the lead human cruiser stood a man named Karun, a simple name for a complicated leader. His gaze fixed on the swirling red signatures ahead. He studied the Devourer formations like a veteran hunter examining a dangerous beast. His crew moved around him with quiet discipline. These were not conscripts or untested warriors. They were forged in the crucible of Earth. Their bodies carried scars. Their minds were tempered by disaster and resilience. They were Deathworlders. Their upbringing gave them a natural calm in situations that filled most species with terror. Karun studied the map until he found the Ventari home system. He spoke to his officers. Form the wall. Advance by wings. Prioritize civilian routes. Break the swarm. Hold for Ventari retreat. His voice was calm. His crew answered with firm acknowledgments. The fleet split into two wide arcs. Their engines flared bright as they accelerated toward the swarm. The Devourer ships reacted with instinctive aggression. They turned their organic cannons toward the newcomers. They opened fire. The battle exploded across the fringe. Human ships took the brunt of the first volley and returned fire with kinetic rounds powerful enough to shatter living fortresses. Human fighters streamed from their bays. Their engines burned like meteors. They wove through the enemy formations with impossible speed. For every human ship damaged, a dozen Devourer craft broke apart in cascading strings of debris. The Devourer swarm adapted. They shifted formations. They attempted to surround the humans. But Karun's fleet did not fight like the powers of the Alliance. Human strategy mixed rigid planning with unexpected improvisation. Each ship moved with independent intelligence. Each squadron acted with fierce unity. The result was a form of battle the swarm had never faced. On Turvan Prime, Rallen and his officers watched the battle in speechless awe. They had expected the humans to contribute a minor force. Instead, an entire war group had arrived. The strength of it exceeded anything the Alliance had ever sent to aid the Ventari. Rallen felt his hope rise too quickly for comfort. Why would they come with such power? An officer asked. Rallen could not answer. He watched as the human fleet carved a path through the swarm. He watched as human rescue ships rushed to save Ventari civilians drifting in damaged transports. He watched as human engineers transmitted shield repairs in real time. The humans were not fighting for territory or profit. They were fighting because someone had asked for help. It was a concept so simple that it felt alien to the Ventari. Days of battle followed. Human ships held the line while Ventari fleets reassembled. Karun coordinated each strike. His presence rallied his forces in quiet ways. He demanded excellence. He offered example. He fought in every choice and every action. His crew respected him not because of rank, but because of the strength behind his decisions. The Ventari began to work beside the humans. Their fleets integrated under guidance from human tacticians. Their ships fought with renewed courage. For the first time in years, the Devourer advance slowed. Then it stopped. Then it broke. In the final confrontation near the Ventari core, the humans launched a decisive counterattack. Their cruisers formed a spear formation. Their fighters swept the flanks. Ventari frigates followed behind. The combined fleet pushed through the last wave of the swarm. When the core node of the Devourer mass burst under concentrated fire, the entire swarm faltered. Its coordinated instinct unraveled. The remaining bioships fled into deep space. The Ventari homeworld was safe. Inside the Hall of Decisions, Rowland met Karun for the first time. The human leader stood tall but relaxed. His expression carried no pride, only steady assessment. Rowland bowed his head in gratitude. "You came when no one else did," Rowland said. "Why?" Karun answered with direct honesty. "You asked." That was enough. Rowland felt the weight of those words. The Ventari had been rejected by every major power. They had been left to die because they were not useful. But the humans did not measure value by advantage. They measured it by something else. Something older. Something deeper. Something the Alliance had forgotten. Responsibility. Connection. Choice. A belief that the strong should not abandon the weak. "You are not accepted by the Alliance," Rowland said. "Yet you came anyway." Karun nodded. "We do not wait for permission to do what is right." The Ventari felt those words echo through their halls. It marked a new beginning. The Alliance powers would soon learn that their indifference